I will let you know when I am ready. That's the conversation we're going to have here on Relationship Thursday. How you guys doing? This is Ron Simplified Myers, author, podcaster, and your uplifting life partner. Have you ever had someone tell you that someone you want to be with, that I'll let you know when I'm ready? Well, here's the key. Never, ever do you put your life on hold for someone else. You guys know one of the major things I talk about, and that's the Self-Love Monday, is about learning to love you, learning to value you. Never, ever try to have someone in your life who doesn't want to be there. You guys follow that? That's why I talk about loving you. Because if you don't want to be in my life, why in the world would I try to hold you there? Because that means I'll spend every day trying to do things or trying to behave in a way where I'm not going to be me. I'm using my life to please you. Folks, it'll never work. You'll never be happy. Why? Because you're not being true to who you are. So the key is to learn to love yourself and find someone who loves you. That's really the whole challenge with this particular conversation. Now, if this is a person that is continuing to text you, call you, stay in your life, but is hurting you, you have to cut them off. You have to let them know you're cutting them off if they continue to text and call, and let them know, you know what? My feelings for you are very strong, and I can't move forward in my life having contact with you. And folks, do cut off social media, cut off air, because obviously it's impacting you. And the key is, a lot of people, the reason they will do the texting, they will do the calling, is to keep their foot in the door. You're a safety valve. See, they're going to continue to run around and do whatever it is they want to do in their life, but they're keeping you on hold just in case they decide they want to step back in. And you are allowing that, because every time they call and text you, your heart opens back up to them, and you're back in that position where you're sitting still waiting on them while they go do whatever it is they want to do. And then they just check back in a little bit to keep that door open, and you're letting it stay open. Folks, don't ever, ever do that to yourself. Love yourself enough, again, to know that you deserve to be with someone who wants to be with you. And so that's really the whole conversation here. Learn that. Don't go out here trying to make somebody want to be with you, because it's a choice. We pick to be who we want to. And sometimes your partner, the person that you're talking to, hasn't made the decision they want to settle down. Are you going to sit back and wait until they decide they want to settle down? Folks, they may not ever decide to do that. What are you going to do in the process? Also, please, if you do have these feelings towards someone and you haven't released them, do not, I don't know how many times I can say that, do not date anyone else. A lot of times our friends and family will tell us that you need to go date someone else. There's other fish in the sea. No, do not date. You are hurting at this point. Hurt people, we've all heard that before, hurt people hurt people. If you're hurting, you're going to go in a relationship as a hurt individual, which means the new person you're in a relationship has to deal with that hurt individual. And now you're going to hold them to, you're going to watch things that they do, watch things that they say, because you're basically tying them to an unclosed door, which means the other person. Everything they do, everything they say, you're going to think about this other person, and they're going to always be referred to that other person. Why? At this point, they're the second pick. They're not the first pick. They're the second pick. Do you want to be the second pick in a relationship? You want to be someone's backup? You want to be someone that where the person you're with is always thinking of someone else? And for yourself, is that fair to you to be in a relationship with someone that you really don't want to be with, but it's a temporary fix? Or should you take time, get yourself healed, release that person, know that you're ready to move forward, and that door is closed? And by that, I'm saying you got to be able to think about that person. If that person texts or call, you cross that person's path, it doesn't faze you. If it messes with you and gets you back to that, oh, I want to be with him or I want to be back with her, that door's not closed yet. Do not, again, date until you're healed. That's the challenge people have in relationships. They keep going from one relationship to the next, never getting any healment, never getting any peace in their life. Because, as I always tell people, if you're messed up, guess who you attract? Messed up people. You're supposed to. Because a person that has their stuff together ain't going to put up with you. Just as if you had your stuff together, you're not going to put up with a messed up person. So if you're having issues, why do you think you will ever attract the real right person for you? When you're bringing messed up to the conversation, you're bringing baggage, as people call it, to the relationship. A person that has their stuff together is not going to open the doors for you. That's why you have to go get your stuff taken care of, clean up your mess so that you have a clean slate. Now you'll be able to attract what you call the right person, a person that really cares about you. Because right now, even if you did attract a person who really cares about you, you wouldn't give them the attention and the love that they deserve. And eventually they're going to walk out on you too. You guys follow me? And then you'll get to blame someone else again for these issues when the real challenge is you haven't overcome your issues, got rid of your baggage so that you can go get a clean slate. And again, this one brings me to another, I was getting ready to close out, but it brings me to another thought when I hear young ladies say there's no good men. I always tell them, you got to understand, you're the interviewer, you're the screener, you're the person in the selection process. So you're the person who's doing the hiring in this particular situation. If you keep hiring the wrong applicants, who's really at fault here? And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. You're the person. That's why when people say I keep getting the wrong people, no, you always attract the right people. You're attracting based on your thought process, based on your screening process. You keep grabbing the wrong person. A lot of times, the right person, the best person for you, is someone you have put in the friend zone. I know, again, this is something most of you don't want to hear, but a lot of you have put the best people for you in the friend zone. People that will do anything for you, you go, oh, he's too easy, or he's too soft, or he's too whatever. The reality is, once you love you, you understand a guy's supposed to treat you that way. And then the expectation is that he's going to treat you that way. That's the reason I'm saying you never, ever beg someone to be in your life for that exact reason. Because when you love you, I'm looking for someone who loves and wants to be with me, not someone I got to talk into it. Because that means they didn't do it on their own, which means they're not really in anyway. Which means the chances of them walking back out again, very, very good. Because if they do step back in, that's why when I've heard, and this video's gone a lot longer than most of them I've been trying to do recently, but when I hear like the one song where the young lady was crying to get her man not to leave, and he was telling her, I'd rather leave than to cheat. Let him go. Please let him go. Because if he stays because of your crying, he's still not committed to the relationship. He's still not committed to you. He's not leaving because he doesn't want to see you cry. Because he does really care. But at this moment, and I tell people, you got to understand, our society teaches young men all the way up, and then they become men who have the same thought process. We do things for one or two reasons, either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. It has been taught. Again, it has been taught. Having many women equals pleasure. Sleep around, have the main woman on the side, but sow your oats, all that. And even women join in by saying they just being men. All that's conversations that really, for me, is insulting, because it makes it sound like men have no control, which is very insulting. And for men, they grab a hold of that because it gives them a good excuse to do what they want. They don't have to be responsible for their actions. The reality is, hold them responsible for their actions. So if you've been taught having many women equals pleasure, then that means having one woman equals pain. Exactly. So until a gentleman, and this holds true for women also, because you guys know I believe everything holds male and female. I don't do that separation, men are this way, women. No, we're all human beings. We all have the same wants and desires. It's just the world tries to teach us one way or the other. They try to program us. But anyway, If you've been taught, again, you got to get to the point where you make the switch. And I'll use my example. It was a perfect case. I had decided I was never going to commit. I was going to be single for the rest of my life. I was never going to get married. And my wife taught me differently. And I always call it the nightmare. And I share that in my book. I called it the nightmare because I had a dream that I caught her cheating. Now, I didn't see who the guy was because I woke up too quick. Because as soon as I caught her cheating, I just woke up instantly out of my sleep. My heart was beating fast. My shirt was soaking wet. I was like, man, I'm like, player ain't supposed to feel this way. What's going on here? And I'm like, man, I actually care about this girl. And it was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I called her up and I was like, I love you. I love you. Folks, I was committed from that day forward. Why? Because I made the shift that losing her was more painful than the pleasure of many women. Or another way of looking at the pleasure of having her was more pleasurable than the pleasure of having many women. However you want to look at it, the bottom line is I had made the decision I was not going to lose this woman for anything. And if you haven't made that decision, men and women, please don't get married. Please don't do that to yourself or to the other person, because it's not a question. If you still have that old thinking that it's pleasure to have many, it's not a question of will you cheat. It's when are you going to cheat? And normally it's going to happen the moment you and that person are having conflicts, that you go, see, this is why having one person equals pain. And this is why you should have many. And the other person is whispering in your ear, if I was with you, I wouldn't do these things. And I would take care of you. And it becomes very, very easy to cross that line and cheat. So folks, it all comes back to the same thing. Learning to love you, value you. Find someone else who values you in the way that I'm just saying. If you're looking for committed relationships, if you're still out here playing games, then we shouldn't be having this conversation anyway, because you're all playing games too. But if you're looking for that person that you're looking to commit to, that person you're looking to marry, you want someone who has made the decision that you're it for me. And if they got to think about it, and I'll get back to you when I'm ready, you're not a priority at this point. You guys hear me? You are not a priority. So do not sit back waiting on that individual. Walk out your life. But first, as I said earlier, get you healed. Don't date until that door is closed and you're truly at peace and you can see that person, hear that person's voice, whatever, and it doesn't faze you at all. Until you get to that point, you shouldn't be dating, because all you're going to do is create another roller coaster, have another challenge, make that person's life miserable, add more misery to your life, because you haven't taken the time to get you at peace. When you have your stuff together, you will attract someone that has their stuff together. Why? Because when we do the interviewing process, we're asking different questions and we have different qualifications, because we've become different. Again, this is not about changing people. This is about changing you. You guys have heard me talk about creating a list. Everybody tells you the reason that you create a list is so that you could, it cuts out time as far as what you're looking for in a person, and it helps disqualify people. I look at the list and I don't have a problem with the list, but I look at the list because I said, if once you make that list of what you're looking for in an individual, you're going to find out that person's not looking for you. Why? First off, you'd be with them. But secondly, you have shortfalls that need to be addressed. Look at that list. Look at what you're looking for and make the adjustment. Perfect example would be if I said and folks, sorry, this video is going a lot longer than planned, but I really wanted to get this message out because I have a cousin who actually asked me to do this one for a good friend. So I'm trying to cover a lot of bases in this, so you all get a chance to hear all my different perspectives pretty much in one video when it comes to this particular topic. So I'm bringing in a lot of different topics, but hopefully it's worth it for you guys to sit back and listen to. But you have to get to, oh man, what was I saying just then?